If you firmly believe that the Bible is the only truth, that Jesus is the only truth, then you're not ready for this information. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Melinda and I'm the Mystic Witch. And today we're going to be talking about God. But before I start, welcome. If you've seen me before, welcome back. Hi, it's nice to see you. I hope you're having a wonderful holiday this joyous season. But today we're going to be talking about God. This is a bit controversial in the way that I'm going to be describing what I've identified and what I understand what God is. The thing is this is going to be outside of your typical norm of even what a pagan understands or believes, what a Christian understands or believes, or even in some cases, a near-death experiencer. I am a near-death experiencer. I had an NDE at 18. I can't believe it's exactly 20 years since I've had my near-death experience. But before I dive into this concept, into this whole experience, and more importantly, to talk to you about God and the importance of God and the depth of God, I hope you subscribe and check out the rest of my content on my channel. And also don't forget, I have a Patreon and I just recently had started a TikTok, which I'm very excited about. So for those of you who follow me, I will follow you back. I have been wanting to talk about this topic for a long time, about what I understand what God is, and more importantly, on how to describe God. There are so many people out there who have their own experiences, and I'm not going to sit here and try to discredit them and their experiences. I'm only talking about what I identify what God is and what I've been told by spirits, what I've been told by spirit guides, what I've been told by deities, what I've been told by alien races on what God actually is. This is based on my personal information and experience. We never really have all the answers until we die and we leave this planet and go back to the beautiful ether. Because sometimes the truth can be scary, right? Sometimes it can be uncomfortable. I want to talk about what I thought God was and then what I know it to be now. If you want to know about my near-death experience, you can go to my channel and check that out. How I had my near-death experience was very surreal to me, and it was, unbeknownst to me, something that would change my life forever. I had a beef allergy out of the blue after eating a hot dog with like these bits of cheese in it. It was at a boyfriend's house. Sure enough, I broke out in hives all over from head to toe. When we called the ambulance, thankfully they were there in time because I had no idea what this was. And all these amazing people were there to help me. My throat closed up. I died. My soul jumped out of my body. And I saw all these other people standing before me. But they weren't just people. These were different. You know, they didn't have wings and halos, and they weren't scary either. They had this beautiful glow about them, this amazing energy, this pure light. And they began to talk to me through telepathy. After that experience, I began to experience so many different things to the point where I also developed my psychic abilities. That's how I became what I am now through my journey. When you have an experience like this, it changes your whole perspective and it draws you to asking more questions. What is the purpose of life? Why are we here? What's the purpose of my life? What is God? What is existence? What is death? All these questions. If you want to learn more about my near-death experience, you can go to my channel. There's several parts to my near-death experience and that I discuss in great detail. I just wanted to give you a little rough draft of what my near-death experience was so we can skip all that so you have an idea of why I'm discussing what God is now in a different way. Before, I thought God was this supreme being, right? Like one being. I was raised Christian. I had this idealism of Christianity, but I was a very open-minded spiritual person. I didn't really think anything was exactly concrete until about my teenage years after my NDE. And that's when I became more Christian in my belief systems, I became more prudent in what I believed was true or false, in what was right and wrong, what was a lie or deception. The thing was, however, I was still wrong, but I wasn't wrong. Is God a supreme being? Yes. Is God, based on the Christian God, correct? Yes and no. Are there deities in the universe? Yes. Are they considered gods or godly? Yes. See where I'm going with this? Are there multiple gods in the universe? Yes. Is there one God in the universe? Yes and no. I found out that over time, the reason why people in their near-death experiences typically believe that God is one being, like identified in the Bible, is because that is true to some degree. But the understanding of that truth is where the misinterpretation comes in. And it's not anyone's fault. It's just how it's perceived through the consciousness from an untrained eye of experience. God is in all of us. You are God. I am God. We are all God. But does that mean that we are supreme beings that can manipulate and control people? Technically, yes, we have that capability. If you look at many different types of religions, especially Christianity, that's a very good example of control and power. There are many different cults that have been created in the name of God and other types of philosophies associated with God. So yes, through manipulation, through the abuse of that power and control, yes, we have that capability. But it comes down to the power of oneself through wisdom to discern whether or not that power should be withheld and utilized in the right way. And that's the difference between someone who knows what real God is and what a deceiver is. God, in truth, is within everyone. But what is God? What is it? Is it a he or is it a she? Yes. God is all of the above. All of the religions are true, and that all of them have pieces of truth. But there is no one truth. There's pieces. Just like the piece of a puzzle. You don't have just a whole picture in that puzzle. You have pieces of that whole picture, right? To make that picture, you have to put the pieces together. That's God. We are all a part of the same energy frequency, the same level of consciousness that makes that which we are. But that doesn't mean that we are incapable of identifying the difference between God and ourselves. But again, what is God? God is love. That's what Jesus, Yehoshua, told me in my near-death experience. He told me in my NDE that love is the only answer. Now people will say automatically, well then that must mean that Christianity is true. Christianity has pieces of truth that doesn't identify the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God, right? It's pieces, fragments of that truth, but not the whole truth. There are so many things in Christianity that are incorrect, things that I have identified and learned after my NDE. And through many years of psychic experiences, dreams, visions, and visits from even extraterrestrials, from spirits and beings of divine race that we can never even fathom until we leave this place. And that rhymed. I know that's divine. My heart for you, dear soul, watching this video is to understand that love is all that matters in your heart. That's all you need. Truth is all you need to guide you. And love is all you need to bring you to that truth. I get this all the time on my channel and in person all the time. Well, that must mean that Jesus deceived you, that wasn't the real Jesus. If you firmly believe that the Bible is the only truth, that Jesus is the only truth, then you're not ready for this information. Okay, that's just something I'm saying in the most gentle way possible. You are just simply not ready for this information. You are not ready to receive the truth for what it is. And the truth is, the Bible is not the only way to heaven, and that God is everyone. Is that God is in every form of every piece of energy that exists in its entirety. I identify as God, as guardians of dimensions. This is my interpretation and my identification and understanding of what God actually is. These are entities and people, beings of all different types of races and species that guard and protect the human race. You can call them extraterrestrials. You can call them angels. It doesn't matter what you call them. But from what I've come to understand and identify is that they've been around for centuries, watching over humanity and having strong affirmative action to keep a type of hierarchy and authority in asserting protection to protect humanity, to guide, to love, and to heal. I've had so many psychic experiences, astral realm experiences, dimensional experiences with these beings, with all kinds of different people and species. It's not something you can ever deny or ignore once you see them for who they are. And they have guided us in the human race for thousands of years. And more than half the time, these people are misinterpreted as evil because they look different. But more than half the time, they're very kind and they're good people. And they come from different levels of dimensions and planets and places that we could never comprehend until we go to the other side, until we die. Because the information is so vast, it's very difficult for the human brain to comprehend, to even fathom the information that they know. But the biggest reason why we are here is not to know what God is, but to know who we are, to learn who we are and who we want to become and why. It's a test of the heart. It's a test of the will, of love and compassion and empathy and courage to some degree for some people. It all comes down to who you are as a person and why. It always goes down to why you are the way you are and why you became the person that you become. Every single one of us have different paths. There's always a level of judgment, however. As we speak, even now, we are being judged for what we do. We are being observed for what we do. And that observation of the human race is one of the biggest reasons why most people are afraid of the other side. Because of the idea of thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be judged when I die. But who's guilty of that fear? What is guilty of that fear? Religion. I won't go deeper into that concept right now, but there is a reason why more near-death experiencers eventually go away from religion after they've truly awakened. They understand the reality of what religion actually does, which is close the mind from the truth that is right before their eyes. Even things that we experience can be completely denied and disproven all because of a scripture or a belief system that was ingrained into our thoughts. Doesn't make it true just because you repeat it over and over. And that is something that even Hitler understood. And that's why he became so good at winning people over to believe in doing the worst things imaginable. Because even Hitler said, if you keep repeating a lie over and over, eventually they will believe it. Even Hitler understood this truth about lies, about the power of lying. And this is why speaking up and talking about what God is and what God isn't is so crucial for the human race. It doesn't mean to be afraid of what is to come for you when you go to the other side. In fact, it's the exact opposite. It means that you can be free to be who you are as long as you are guided by love and with your heart. That's all that matters. You're not going to be damned to a place that is going to torture you for all eternity. Does that place exist? Absolutely. But there are millions of them. But is any person actually damned to that place? No. I cannot talk about God without talking about those things, right? Because God, in so many ways, is exactly these topics that people bring up when they talk about God. From what I've come to identify so far in my experiences as a psychic medium and as a near-death experiencer, now with the ability to astral project because of that ability through my near-death experience, I have come to identify and understand that our consciousness is way more powerful than we have ever comprehended, than we could ever imagine. And that level of awareness of thyself's consciousness makes you a threat to those who want to shut you down and control you. If you take this message and you were drawn to this message, you were drawn to it for a reason. Take it with a grain of salt, even if that's all you are able to do, even if that's all you're able to even accept, that's okay. If you deny this entire thing and you want to send me hate, that is completely okay. I welcome it, because then that will show how many more people in the world are closed-minded and shut down because of that control system. And that's a sad tragedy, but it's the truth. That's not gaslighting. That is the truth. And more people are waking up to this reality. More and more people are waking up away from religion and walking into spirituality. Spirituality is not about a constructive patriarchy and a system that tells you what to do through scriptures and rules and obligations and judgment. True spirituality is about being open to the facets of consciousness and to the unlimited dimensions of possibilities. The reason why so many people in near-death experiences identify God as love is because they begin to see and feel through the whole being that that energy is within everyone. And you will feel all that energy, and you will feel so whole and so much love that you will feel like you were never missing anything ever. And that's one thing about Christianity that is true, is that you can't put a face on God. You can't put a gender on God, because God is so effortless and so magnificent on every level imaginable and unimaginable. There are so many gray areas of what God is. But for me, I personally identify that God is within the people that are guardians of dimensions. That means within spirit guides, deities, ancestors, and other beings of light and love that are either physically alive or in other dimensions that are metaphysical, that have passed on, that are here to guide and witness the greatness of humanity's evolution, and to guide us along that evolution through love and compassion, not fear and control and manipulation. And that is the difference between God and the devil. The devil, that's a whole other topic, and we will definitely get into that in another video. But today I wanted to stay positive in this truth, that as long as you identify God to something that is good and true to you, then you will never lose God. No matter what spiritual path you walk, that is the love that you will gain through that evolution, through that identification, and through that connection and relationship. The world needs more hope and faith in something that is there for them. But that's my video at this time. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and let me know down in the comment section below what you feel God is. I would love to know. But thank you so much for watching. Take care.